Welcome back to Breakfast. If you tuned into Fair Go last night, you'll have seen their story about migrant families stuck overseas due to border restrictions. These people may not be residents, but many have lived here for years, worked hard, paid taxes and sent their kids to local schools. They've contributed to the economy, but they were stranded on March the 19th when the borders closed to all non-citizens or residents. So is it fair that they can't come home? Joining us from Hamilton is immigration lawyer Katy Armstrong, who says the longer we leave it, the bigger the crisis will become. Morena, Katy.
Good morning, Hayley.
So this
couple of corrections, because I'm actually an immigration advisor, not a lawyer here in New Zealand. And
sure.
I'm beaming from Raglan.
Thank you very much for correcting us from Raglan. Okay, so this family on Fair Go last night were a South African family. They'd gone back to renew their visas, but they had essential work visas. They'd been here for 4 years. Do you think it's fair that they have been locked out?
No, I don't think it's fair, Hayley. I think it's really important that people understand exactly what's going on here, which is that we're talking about a whole group of people who have the legal rights to live and work in New Zealand. And what's not fair about it is that there was no warning. So I think a lot of people have, said, well, why did these people travel? Why didn't they come home sooner, et cetera, et cetera. But I really do need to point out that, at that time, so many people were traveling, Kiwis included, and there literally was no time to get back.
There are many stories like this. There's a couple from the UK who have work visas who were in Bali just on holiday and they're stuck there. There's a mother and her daughter who was born here in New Zealand who are also stuck in Bali. I think they've finally been allowed to come home. So can you explain how this happened? These people were on work visas, but they're not residents. Can you just give us an idea about what's going on here?
Well, yes, lots of people who come to New Zealand to live and work are on a journey, and that journey can take a number of years to be able to, get into a position to be eligible for residence. And in fact, we have deliberate policies here that put people onto work visas so that they have to work towards getting their residence. So, obviously there's a massive spectrum and some people will have been here longer than others. But yes, they're all, right up until the 19th of March, they were ostensibly part of the team of 5 million.
And now they seem like they've been locked out of the team, dropped from the team, some would say. And some of our attitudes towards these migrants or people on working visas have changed. I've noticed it. You hear it out on the streets. Some people are saying, they should stay home or go home. What do you think is happening to New Zealanders and our attitudes towards migrants?
I think that there's always been a certain xenophobia that bubbles under the surface and it comes up from time to time. But what's happening with the border closure, of course, is that I think people feel somehow fortified in that view because there's a sense of protectionism around Kiwi jobs and around Kiwis coming first and so forth. And I think that's why it's so very, particularly important at this time, a very sensitive time, that the government really steps in to adjust the messaging here. Because, New Zealand has an international reputation for looking after its migrants. And we've had the last 3 years, the government's been talking a lot about, stamping out exploitation and, all of last year, we were told we are one. And I think it's really, really important at this time that those kind of messages are actually brought to the fore. Fortunately, Hayley, I think what you're talking about, although, yes, I also see that and I hear that, I do think it's the minority view.
Because these people aren't coming to steal jobs from Kiwis. They had jobs, they had lives here, they were necessary. They were actually on essential work visas, weren't they? These people are valuable.
Absolutely. These people have been on, as you say, essential skills work visas, or some of them are even on what we call talent work to residence visas. There's a clue in the title there. And yes, we're not talking here about people who've lost their jobs or can't, who in any way threaten the labour market, if you like. The immigration system is full of checks and balances to make sure that Kiwis get a first dibs on all jobs in New Zealand. That's the whole premise of our immigration instructions. And we're in a unique position in New Zealand because we don't have land borders. So we can cherry pick. And we did cherry pick these people. None of these people got their visas by stealth. They were given those visas by the government.
Thank you so much, Katy Armstrong, immigration advisor, beaming in from Raglan. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Hayley. Thank you.
So important. But right now it is 7 o'clock and Jenny's got the news.
The other Jenny.